I want you to walk into a forest. Stand still. Close your eyes. What do you hear? You hear the wind in the leaves. You hear birds. You might hear the creaking of wood. But to you, the trees themselves are silent. They stand apart from each other, solitary figures fighting for sunlight, immobile and mute. We have always viewed trees as loners. We thought they competed with their neighbors for resources, living and dying alone. But we were wrong. Beneath your feet, just a few inches under the soil, there is a complex, buzzing, electric conversation happening right now. There is a biological internet that connects every tree in the forest to every other tree. They are not individuals. They are a city. They are talking to each other. They are trading with each other. They are warning each other of danger, and they are even caring for their own children. This network is called the Wood Wide Web. The discovery of this network changed biology forever. It started with a mystery. Scientists noticed that sometimes a tree stump, a tree that had been cut down decades ago, was still alive. It had no leaves. It had no way to photosynthesize. It should have rotted away years ago. But when they scraped the bark, it was green and living underneath. How was this possible? How can a stump survive without food? The answer lies in the fungi. If you pick up a handful of forest soil, you are holding more life forms than there are humans on Earth. Running through that soil are miles and miles of tiny, white, thread-like filaments called mycelium. These are the roots of mushrooms. For centuries, we thought fungi were parasites. But we discovered that they are actually the internet cables of the forest. The fungi and the trees have made a deal, an evolutionary contract that is 400 million years old. It is called mycorrhiza. Trees are good at making sugar from sunlight. Fungi cannot do this. They live underground. However, fungi are incredible at mining. Their tiny threads can dissolve rock and extract minerals like phosphorus and nitrogen. So, they trade. The fungi plug physically into the roots of the tree. The tree sends sugar down into the fungi. In exchange, the fungi send minerals up into the tree. It is a perfect symbiotic economy. But the fungi don't just connect to one tree. They connect to all of them. A single fungal network can link a birch tree to a fir tree to a cedar tree, creating a massive underground circuit board. And once the trees are connected, they start to use the network for something else. They start to use it to talk. Scientists have injected radioactive isotopes into a specific tree. The healthy tree was sharing its food with its neighbor. This proved that the forest is not a collection of individuals fighting for survival. It is a socialist system. It is a superorganism where the strong feed the weak. The forest is alive, and it knows you are there. Once we understood the network, we started to map it, and we found something that sounds like it belongs in a fantasy novel. We found the mother trees. In every forest, there are hub trees. These are the oldest, largest, and most connected trees in the ecosystem. A single mother tree can be connected to hundreds of other trees. Her root system is the central server for the entire forest. Ecologist Suzanne Simard discovered that mother trees are not just hubs, they are parents. When a mother tree drops seeds, they grow into saplings in the shade of her canopy. Normally, these babies would die. They don't get enough sunlight to photosynthesize, but the mother tree knows they are there. She recognizes her own kin. Through the fungal network, the mother tree pumps liquid sugar directly into the roots of her babies. She literally breastfeeds them underground. She keeps them alive for decades. But the wisdom of the mother tree goes deeper. When a mother tree is dying, maybe from old age or a lightning strike, she does one final beautiful act. In her final days, she dumps her resources. She pushes her carbon, her nutrients, and her remaining energy out into the network. She bequeaths her inheritance to the next generation. But she also sends something else: information. Scientists believe that trees can send chemical signals that encode defense memories. If the mother tree lived through a drought or a beetle infestation, she creates defense chemicals. When she dies, she passes these chemical warnings to the saplings. She is teaching them. This challenges our definition of intelligence. We think intelligence requires a brain. We think it requires neurons firing in a skull. But the forest acts like a brain. The fungal threads are the axons. The trees are the neurons. The chemical signals are the neurotransmitters. The forest thinks. It plans. It remembers. It grieves. We look at a forest and see lumber, but we are looking at a family that has been holding hands underground for 1,000 years. However, we must be careful not to romanticize nature. The Wood Wide Web is not a utopian paradise. it is also a battlefield. Just like the human internet, the fungal network has hackers, thieves, and cyber warfare. Not all trees are benevolent, some are killers. Take the black walnut tree. It is the serial killer of the forest. It releases a toxic chemical called juglone from its roots. This toxin travels through the fungal network and poisons the trees around it. It assassinates its neighbors to steal their sunlight and water. Then there are the phantom orchids. These are beautiful flowers that have no chlorophyll. They cannot photosynthesize. They should not exist. But they survive by hacking the network. They plug into the fungal lines and steal carbon from nearby trees without giving anything back. They are the hackers of the forest. They are identity thieves that trick the fungus into feeding them. And then there is the warning system. If a tree is attacked by a bug, say an aphid or a caterpillar, it reacts instantly. It tastes the saliva of the bug. It analyzes the DNA of the attacker. Then it sends a distress signal through the network. The neighboring trees receive the signal. They haven't been attacked yet, but they know the enemy is coming, so they preemptively raise their shields. They alter their leaf chemistry to make themselves taste bad or become toxic. By the time the caterpillars crawl to the next tree, the buffet is closed. But the most terrifying aspect is how the network handles weak links. While the network usually supports the weak, sometimes the logic of the forest is cold. If a tree is too sick or too damaged, the network might cut it off. The fungi determine that the tree is a bad investment. They stop sending it nutrients. They isolate it. The forest decides who lives and who dies. It is a collective intelligence that prioritizes the health of the whole over the individual. It is a brutal, efficient, and highly intelligent system. It is capitalism and socialism mixed together in a ruthless biological dance. Music cue. Time by Hans Zimmer. Style track. Slow, building to a massive crescendo, then fading to silence. All of this science leads us to one uncomfortable, spiritual question. If trees can talk, if they can trade, if they can learn, and if they can care for their young, are they conscious? For Aristotle, plants were at the bottom of the ladder. They had souls, but they were asleep. But modern plant neurobiology is blurring the line. We know that root tips have a structure that functions exactly like a brain. They consume oxygen like a brain. They fire electrical signals like a brain. A single plant root has millions of these sensing tips. A whole forest has quintillions of them. The neural network of a forest is larger and more complex than the human brain. Is it possible that the forest feels? When you cut down a tree, the tree sends out a massive burst of electrical signals. It screams in a frequency we cannot hear. It releases gas that alerts the forest of trauma. We treat plants as objects. We treat them as furniture. But what if we are walking through a civilization that is simply too slow for us to understand? We live in seconds. Trees live in centuries. To a tree, we are just buzzing flies that appear and disappear in a blink. They are playing a long game that we cannot comprehend. The Wood Wide Web teaches us humility. We built the internet 30 years ago and thought we were geniuses. But the trees built their internet 400 million years ago. They have been online since before the dinosaurs. They solved the problems of sustainability, cooperation, and networking long before we ever crawled out of the ocean. So, the next time you walk through a forest, tread lightly. You are not alone. The ground beneath you is humming with information. The trees are watching you, and they are talking about you. I am your host. Listen to the leaves. Subscribe.